Hey guys, so I'm back with another faith filling video. So I gotta tell y'all a story about what happened to me. So recently I had to get a loaner car. I had to get a loaner car, and my car had to go and get some things done to it. So because the things that I needed were not going to be in until after my trip, they said, oh, well, we can provide you with a loaner, so you can take this loaner and you should still go on your trip, right? Because I was driving. So the loaner is a luxury vehicle, and it's a sports utility vehicle. So I was like, okay, and it's a 2024, and I was like, okay. So I went on my trip with my loaner vehicle, and the unthinkable happened, right? I have never, even my driving record is really clean. I don't do anything crazy. I don't have none of that on my insurance. That's why I've always had low insurance. So I was just like, okay, while I had this vehicle, it rides great and everything. And I'm just saying to myself, like, I'm responsible, though. I never do anything crazy. So we come back from dinner. And when we come back from dinner at the hotel, I decided to park. But it was like a lot of people at this certain hotel. And I had to park in the spot that I hadn't parked in since I had been at the hotel on vacation. And it was like way at the end, and it was kind of dark. So this vehicle that I had, it would make a sound if anything got close to it. Same like my car. Either if you're, backing into something, it go beep, 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 beep real loud. So when I was backing into the parking spot, it wasn't making any noise. It wasn't going beep, 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 beep. Nothing like that. So I kept backing up. So when I backed up, I heard something go boom, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, right? Now, I'm like, this is a 2024 luxury vehicle. And I'm thinking because it didn't hit hard, I'm going to get out and it's probably just going to be like, it shouldn't have been a scratch. I get out and I'm like, I look, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was a dent. Now, mind you, I'm saying to myself, I didn't even back up that hard. So I was like, man, the enemy is trying so hard to like ruin, because I had such a great time. And I was just saying that, like, where we were, normally I'm just not like not having a good time, but normally I'll be in a different type of vibe. And I was just telling my daughter, I'm like, man, I can't believe I had that much fun. Like, I'm really enjoying myself. I'm letting myself go. So okay, so the enemy see, oh, she happy, she having a good time, let me ruin it. That's how I feel. And I know, again, I say you can't blame the enemy, everything on the enemy, but this was like, really, I was having a great time and I had to let my mind go. So I see the dent and I'm like, oh my goodness, right? So I couldn't even sleep the next day, right? So I get up, everybody's telling me, go and get an estimate before you take it back to the dealership, because you could probably get it fixed before you take it back to the dealership. But I'm like, I'm not doing that. But out in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could, right? So I go to this gas station. Now, this is where it gets weird. This guy is there, and he's like, he comes out, he was already fixing somebody's car. He was a younger guy, and he came over to me and he said, can I help you, ma'am? And I said, yeah. I said, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I said, but he said, what's your situation? I said, well, I showed him my car. I said, look at the back of this truck. I said, this is what happened. I'm trying to see, what do you think I should do? Because I can go and get, something. People telling me to get something to pull it out, or what do you think? So he looked at me and he was like, well, ma'am, you can't have it pulled out, but where the dent is, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, I was talking to him and he was just really, really nice. He was like, and it's okay. He didn't know me from a can of paint. And he started saying, you're a really good person. You're a really nice person. And I can tell how you are. He was like, but just, take it back. Just be honest. He's like, you don't have to, he's like, just tell the truth, what happened. Basically, he was telling me not to lie. And I remember telling my daughter, like, it was like a calmness. And when he was talking to me, he was telling me, like, don't lie about it. Just be honest. They'll understand. Always remember, just truth, honesty is the best policy. And I'm sitting up here in my head, I'm like, who is he? Is he trying to say I'm a liar or something? And I was like, yeah. I said, that's what I was going to do. But he said, yeah, don't worry about fixing it. He said, just go and be honest and tell the truth, what happened, and then it'll work out. He said, so he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, I could tell the type of person that you're a really good person. So I kind of like, I swear it was the weirdest feeling. So he was like, don't worry about it, and I want you to enjoy the rest of your vacation. How he knew I was on vacation, I don't know, right? So my daughter could hear the whole conversation, And I was like, hold on. I was like, why did he feel like an angel? And I told my daughter that. And she was like, I know, it's something calm about him. He was really not. I said, it was just a weird feeling. It was like he knew me, but he didn't know me. So I get back in. I'm like, okay. So we get back to my city, and I said, okay, I'm gonna take it in. So I took it in the next day. Like 2 days later, I'm off vacation. So I take it in. I was still on vacation, but it was like 2 days after the holiday. So I take it in, and I tell the dealership, I'm like, hey, listen. I'm like, the guy was like, you have fun on your vacation? I was like, yeah. And he was like, what's wrong? I can tell. He's like, what happened? And I said, oh my goodness. I said, I was backing into a parking spot, and the truck wasn't going, it didn't make any noise. Normally it does that, and it stops you from, it didn't say anything. So I kept backing up because I thought I still had space. I was looking at the camera. But because it was nighttime, I didn't see that little, it was like a pipe hanging down. And then he said, oh, let me see it. So I looked, and he's like, man. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And he said, well, let me go and get the manager so, you can tell him what happened. So the manager comes out. I tell him what happened. I'm like, I'm sorry, this is what happened. I said, he's like, don't worry about it, Miss Wells. It's going to be okay. So he kept telling me, don't worry about it. So I'm like, okay. So he's like, it's going to be okay. So I said, okay, let me know what the damage is. And he was like, yeah, we'll just pay it. We'll just put it. Oh, my ears are ringing. So he was like, we'll just go ahead and put it on your insurance. I said, no, I'd rather just pay out of pocket because, I don't want to put that on there. I don't have any moving violations, things like that. But I was just worried. So he was like, well, we'll let you know. So they called me after I left, maybe about an hour after I got home. And I was like, ooh, I was scared to answer the phone. So he told me how much it was. And I was like, oh, my goodness, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to come up there and pay it. He said, okay. So in the back of my mind, I remember the night that it happened. I had closed my eyes. I had got on my knees and prayed. My daughter I went up to the front and I was praying. I was like, God, help me because I cannot, I'm just my car in the shop. Plus I got to pay for this. So then I remember him saying, I got you. He said, but I want you to do something for me. And I promise you, I told my daughter this, and it's like I heard him say, I want you to tell somebody about me. That's all I need you to do is just trust me. I got you. But the reason that you're here was not for your vacation. It was for you to talk to somebody about me. Right? And I'm like, am I dreaming? So I told my daughter exactly what I heard. I said, it was like God was telling me, this is not even a vacation. Because I kept saying, why am I here? We went to a city that she wanted to go to because she wanted to see if she liked it. And I wanted to see if I wanted to buy a new home here because I was going to transfer here. So when I heard the voice, I'm like, why? I said, why did this happen? Why didn't I come down here? Something happened. Try not to panic. And I remember him saying that I sent you here, but it was for you to tell somebody about me. And I'm like, I haven't seen not one person I told about God. So for the rest of the trip, I was saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to talk to somebody. Then I thought about the guy that I was standing out there talking to that told me to don't worry about it, the mechanic. And I remember telling him, I was like, God is so good. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because I trust God, and I know that I wouldn't do anything like that. I know he wouldn't, he's going to take care of me. And I guess that was me talking to him about God. So then I go today to go pay for the car, right? Before I get ready to go to pay for the car, I was helping somebody do something. Somebody that I love, somebody who's just really needed my help, and I was doing this, and I know they really appreciate it. I was helping them do something. So then, because I'm at work, and now so I got on my lunch, and I was helping the person. So then after that, I got an email. So I was on my last break. I was like, okay, I got an email, and I was like, oh, what is this? I got this email. I'm like, why am I getting this email from this particular place or whatever? I open up the email, and when I tell y'all, it was the exact amount of money, just like a couple dollars off of what I paid to get the car fixed, that was given to me. Given to me. Like, this is for you. This amount of money is given to you. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, it was already given to me, going into my bank account. And it had said, this is how much we're giving you. It's just an email saying, this money was awarded to you. Da, da, da. And I'm like, what? Like, what? I already knew it was from God, but I was like, listen, God was like, I'm going to take care of you. Stop worrying about it. So the exact amount of money I just gave for the car, God put it right back into my account. It was like, I can't even explain it, but the best way I can explain it is it's like God will take care of you. And I felt like me being honest and not going in there saying something else, because in the back of my mind, even though the guy was telling me don't just be honest and tell, I was gonna say, like, somebody back to me in a hotel or whatever, because I was so scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, how much is gonna cost? It's gonna be liable on me. I'm not a liar. I don't do things like that. I'm an adult. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is an electric vehicle or whatever. I told the truth, which I would have done anyway, but I felt like that man telling me, like, he was like, you're a good person. Just go in there and be honest. Let them know what happened. It's going to be okay. I felt like he was speaking like an angel to me, because I was saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I was. But at the end of the day, I just want to say to somebody, like, when you think God is not listening to you, he's listening to you. And sometimes when you think you're doing something for yourself, it's not always for you, it's for the other person. And even if I didn't speak in depth to somebody, I connected with somebody and God heard me. And at the end of the day, I felt like I went through something that I had to learn that, God has my back regardless of what happens. And when you trust him and say, God, I trust you. And I remember saying, God, I trust you. I'm not going to worry about it. I talked to my sister and she was like, stop worrying about it. You good. Because I was all like, oh, this has never happened before. I've never had anybody's property in my possession and anything happen to it. I don't care if it's a rental car. I don't care what it is. And it was just so amazing how that happened. And then today I get the exact same amount sent back to me. It was like, I had to look around, like, when I opened the email, and I was like, thank you, God. Like, I heard you say that I got you. Stop worrying. But at the end of the day, being human sometimes, it's so hard to just trust God. And I hate to say that aloud, but I trust God. But it's hard sometimes trusting something that you can't see. And even though I can't see you, like, I can feel you got all around. I can feel God's presence. And I learned from this experience that sometimes, no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, when people are speaking to you and you think that it's just something simple, God can be talking or moving through somebody else trying to give you a message. Sometimes you just gotta be still, like, listen to it. Because I swear, when I told my daughter this guy felt like an angel, it was like he knew me. Because he just, like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but when he put his, sorry guys, I'm on 285 and it is like packed during work day, but when he put his arm on my shoulder, and I'm like, I want to say, like, he said, I know you're a good person. Just go and tell the truth and everything is going to be okay. He said, I know you're a good person. And I'm like, man, don't know me. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with somebody, that God just gave it right back to me. And I went to sleep after I prayed, but at the end of the day, I did hear God speak to me, and I heard him say, I got you. Stop worrying. Because I kept saying to myself, like, man, the enemy, every time I've been trying to enjoy myself, I do something, it's like, no. When you are covered, no one can touch you. And if something like that does happen, you got to look at the lesson in it, and you got to understand how God is going to be there for you. As long as you know that you are trying your best. And anytime you are trying your best and you're walking with God and you're trying to learn how he looks at us, something is going to happen where it's going to test your faith. And I think with that being said, it's like, I just have to understand that it's not going to be an easy thing. It's always going to be people or some type of something that's going to try to test your faith, until you understand how to pray yourself through it, how to trust God, and just keep on staying faithful. And I'm just so happy, because I was like, whoo, to open that email, it was like I had to look around and say, Lord, you are so faithful, and I will never doubt you again. I always had, and I wasn't in doubt. It's just like, sometimes you be thinking like, okay, this is a lesson. God's trying to teach me this lesson. And then sometimes he's trying to take you through something so you can tell how you came out of it. It could be the smallest thing. Like, my situation right now is not as big as somebody else's. And I know that there's things ahead that's, probably going to be harder. But even the small things, like, I'm telling somebody else right now what happened to me, so I can you know, share on how even with big or small problems, God can always fix it. All right, so I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I'm gonna try to go ahead and enjoy mine and go get relaxed. And thanks for coming back to my channel for story time. Hopefully I'll be able to give you guys some more new interesting places to visit in Atlanta, because I found some new stuff, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that for a couple weeks. I'm just going to relax and wait, because fall is coming and I just want to get my house set up with the fall feeling inside and out, and then just worry about that for a minute, and then I'll get into going and doing things that I want to do. All right, have a blessed and a wonderful day. Bye.